he was calling the clinic to find out if they had anything. And they told him, yes, we do. And then all of a sudden he gets there, they don't give him anything. That's where all this really started. So, needless to say, I have to answer the second one.
You don't want to do that.
And that's part of the presentation that you will see a little later, but this courier was actually calling every clinic on the route, I found out. Every clinic on the route. And the first clinic, his first stop of the day, they liked when he called. You know why? Because they can tell him, no, we don't have anything, so they don't have to see him, because they thought he was creepy. That's what the doctor told me. She said, well, we love him calling because we don't have to be bothered with him. So I had to explain to them that obviously he can't call you. You know, I understand what you're saying, but he can't call you. That's not part of the procedure. So, but I wanted to share those stories with you because they happen. Some of you all, and I'll answer you in a second, sir. Some of you all are gonna go out there, you're gonna go to a clinic, and they're gonna probably say, hey, give me your phone number and I'll just call you. You know, we can't do that. I'm pretty sure it's happening. I can't stop it because I don't know about it. But after calling clinics on this particular route, I found that he was calling all of them. So whoever gets route VEL 2022, the driver was calling the clinics, and you don't want to get caught up in those type of things because that can lead to more problems. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sometimes would it be better to wait for a few minutes?
I'll get to that too, because that's actually in the SOP. I'll get to that in a second. Well, I may as well just go ahead and touch on. Your routes the night routes and the day routes are pretty time constraints there. The most, and this is the absolute most we would like our courier to wait is 10 minutes. That's like the most though. That's like pushing it to the edge right there, 10 minutes. Okay? By a lot of you all being new to these routes, 10 minutes is a long time because 10 minutes can put you behind. My best advice would probably be to let someone else make a decision if it's longer than 10 minutes. The night routes, you don't have to do a lot of waiting. Most of the clinics are closed anyway. It's the morning routes that you get kind of, got a fine line to where, 5 minutes here, maybe 6. But the night routes, you have some clinics that are open 24 hours. If you feel you're ahead in the game on your route and you can wait 10 minutes, that's fine. Anything more than that, you need to be calling your dispatch or IDEXX dispatch. Let an IDEXX person basically tell him he's got to go or she's got to go. This way, you don't get into any conflicts because they start to get mad at the courier when you tell them, oh, I can't wait. They'll get mad at the courier and the courier's just doing his job. And we don't want the courier to get into a lot of conflicts with the clients out there. If they're gonna be mad at anybody, let them be mad at IDEXX, not you all. Because you all are out there providing the service for us. So. Sir, what you have?
This is back on the bags. I run across in some of the pickups that we do for another lab that they'll put a whole pile of samples, like a big bag, bigger than a shopping bag. They'll put a whole pile of samples in there, and sometimes we'll open that bag up and actually repackage it a little bit into different bags. You don't want us playing with any of those bags. Whatever we get in that box, just goes in our cooler, right?
Well, I'm just trying to let you know that I wouldn't try to count them right there on the spot. I would, if they got them already in the bag, that actually helps you out, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's one account. I'm not sure if that company had you count them, but all we ask the driver to do is count for each specific clinic. But it's best, if you've got a clinic like, say, Blum, I was talking about earlier, you're talking 50 samples, and you're trying to count them outside in the dark, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, but we're not touching those bags. Whatever's in them, we'll just leave it.
Oh,
yeah, you're not touching them, you're not repackaging them,
exactly.
Nothing. You're just gonna pull them out, and like he's saying, if you have a big bag, then you take it back to your car, and you'll need to count each one, because what I'll be teaching you guys is you'll have to enter your specimen count for each clinic that you go to. And then that tracks through our e-courier system, and then at the end of your route, will come up a total count, and then you can match that to your route sheet to make sure you have all your pieces. But that's all you're doing, pulling out specimens and counting each specimen and logging that, okay? No repackaging.
Yeah, I'm just trying to save you all from dropping samples outside, because I'll tell you right now, if you got about 50 samples in a lockbox, you're probably gonna drop one if you don't just handle them all at one time and maybe get them into another bag. And you'll know your routes. You'll say, hey, I better take my extra bag in with me because I know the poor animal hospital is gonna have at least 30 bags. And I'm not gonna sit out here in the cold and count them. I'm gonna get them all in this one bag. I can get them counted a little later, but at least I know they're protected and they're together. And that's really the main thing, is you want these bags to stay together. If you look at these bags, and these bags are pretty slippery. I tell you, I'll give you a perfect example. 4 years ago, my boss and I had to do a route. We had like 4 people call in, and we scrambled and got some other people to cover, but him and I wound up having to do a route. He dropped the sample outside. I mean, we caught it, but he dropped the sample outside. Now we do all this preaching, hey, you gotta do this, we used to have all these meetings, and then he dropped the sample outside. He'd be mad at me if I mentioned it now, but hey, I gotta tell you the truth. He dropped one because it just slipped. And I just happened to walk on that side of the car and I saw it on the ground, I was like, hey. And this is the boss, so that wasn't easy to go by. He goes, oh, no, I didn't. I said, yes, you did. It was right here.
You want to pass those around and
Yes.
just let them take a look at it?
But this one here, you'll see them also. You see this one here with all these tubes in it? These are what we call multiple heartworms forms. And I wanted to touch on one thing before I pass these around. If you see a bag that just has tubes in it with blood and no form, the only thing we require you all to do is to write the account number either on the bag or on a piece of paper, because if you look in the front of these bags, it has a little pouch right here. If you can write the account number on a piece of paper for us, this way we'll know where they came from. Otherwise, what winds up happening is all these samples will be logged in under a miscellaneous account. We'll have to wait till some clinic call and complain, hey, I didn't get my results. Oh, well, these must be yours. And then we kind of go off the accession numbers, because all these tubes have little numbers on them, and then they put little stickers on them with barcodes on them, and that's how they track sample from which patient to which sample it belongs to. But if you see one, and occasionally they forget to put the form in here, just all we need is the account number. If you can write it on the bag, that's fine too. But some pens don't write good on plastic.
Well, we provide them with Sharpies. So everybody
There you
has a Sharpie for a reason.
Okay, if you write that on the bag, that would be a big help to the lab. Otherwise, they won't know where these things came from.
Yeah, and the account number, I would assume, is on our manifest for each stop?
Yes.
The account number is on?
Yes.
Exactly.
And it will also be on your route sheet and your address sheet.
So you said, write it on the bag?
You can write it on the bag, you can put it on a piece of paper where this one is, see how there's an extra pocket here? You can, it's better probably to write it on a piece of paper and stick it in here, but your Sharpie will work too, you can write that right on the bag, that's fine. We don't reuse these anyway, so that's fine. A couple of forms that you all will be running into, and I don't expect you all to be, analyze forms and things of that nature, because that's not your job. Your sole job is to retrieve those samples and get them back as soon as you can and as safely as you can. That's your sole job. I mean, as far as reading which clinic, whose form is what, I don't expect you all to do that. But because some of you all are going to run into a situation, if you get focused on reading clinic names on forms, you're going to go to one clinic and you're going to see some samples from another clinic that's not even on your route in that lockbox. You know why that would be? That would take place because the normal driver might have already passed their clinic up and they forgot to put them out. So they'll go to maybe their friend's clinic that are just 5 miles away or near their home, throw them in their lockbox. They know you got to go there. And so you may see samples from 2 different clinics in one lockbox, but I wouldn't focus too much on that. Just get them out of there. That's the main thing, and we're okay. You also see forms. These are self-generated forms that the clinics actually do themselves. They're on a form what we call lab recs. They're kind of linked up with our system so they can print their own forms. Whereas all the other forms, like these here, and I'll pass some of these around so you all can at least kind of get an idea what they look like. This is the typical form you'll probably see at the majority of the clients. It'll be a form like this, it'll have the clinic name. We actually print these at the lab at Elmhurst. Have some barcodes right here, have some information and pen information. Don't concern yourself. And I just want you to kind of get an idea of the color forms we have. But they're all for different type of tests. And if you ask me what type of test they were for, I couldn't tell you, I'm not a lab person. I'm a transportation person, so. And here's a multiple heart rate one too.
So did you say you put the outside of the bags and put something missing?
Or on a piece of paper, you can slide it in that little pouch. That would be very helpful. Now, you all are fortunate in this market because in other markets that we have, they actually have to deliver supplies to clients. We took that away from you all. You all don't have to deliver any supplies. The only thing you all need to worry about is picking up your samples and not missing any. That's probably the most important part of the job. You're gonna run behind some days starting out because you're getting used to the route. But once you run these routes a couple times, you all will be fine. These routes, if you notice, I don't know if you all looked at all of them, but I'm sure you all have. And a lot of these routes kind of intertwine. And we also left some outs as well. We have a route called VEL 2029. 2029 is the last route we put together, obviously, because it's 29. But that's our route to save us if we're really having problems. We can actually add stops to 2029 to make that route a little longer to help out other routes. So just wanted to keep that in your minds as well. Right now, we currently start the route at 8 o'clock at night. The reason why we started that late is because some of our larger clients are on that route and they want a later pickup, late as possible. So we do start that one late, but that route could easily start at 6 o'clock if we had to. If we were in a bind, we could start that route at 6 and add maybe 2 or 3 other clients to that route, maybe 4.
That's kind of like the catch-up route.
Exactly, we call it the sweep route.
The sweeper.
Yeah, we call it the sweep route. The other route you have is the morning route, VDE 2024. 2024 is the last route we built on the morning route. We put that route together simply because we wanted to get the samples to the lab a little sooner, get some routes in earlier. That route finishes sometimes about 12:30. We want the routes done by 2:30, 3 at the latest. If we had to, we can also add some stops to that route. So this way they can all finish somewhere around the same time. So Don, that's just something, I just wanted to throw that out. I know that's not part of the training, but I wanted to throw that at you that we do have some flexibility. We built that flexibility in case situations like this were to occur. We're kind of protected. So after the first day, for example, we may say, well, okay, we need to do something fast. All I gotta do is send you a new route sheet, the address sheet, and we're ready to go the next day. So always keep that in the back of your mind because we may need that option. Just to let you all know, in this market, there are going to be 29 routes here that you all will be covering. That's actually 29 of the 101 that I have. So you all got a good little piece of that. You got a fourth of the routes that, of the 101 routes I have, you got a good fourth of them right there. And basically my routes are I have routes in Minnesota, I got Elmhurst, Illinois, the Illinois area, Northwest Indiana, and obviously Detroit. The Detroit market, I'll be honest with you all, they've done a pretty good job here, and then we've had a lot more issues lately in this market, so a lot of our clinics are, I'll put it to you like this, that one clinic I told you about with the creepy guy, this how.
Does he still work for you?
He doesn't work for me, but he works for a vendor, but the creepy guy, I told the lady, I said, look, can you hold out for two and a half more weeks? Because we'll be probably adding another curve. She said, well, I guess I can hold out that long. So needless to say, whoever gets 2022, the first stop on your route, I'm telling you, they're very high maintenance. They don't give us a lot of volume, but they're very high maintenance. All I ask you to do is be nice, polite. I don't ask you to do anything over and above the call of duty. And don't hang out in their lot either. They don't like that. It's typically, the courier on their first stop, they park at the clinic of their first stop and they may call their dispatch, do those things. And I explained to the lady, I said, well, you're the first stop on the route. You know, they usually call in dispatch, get their extra call-ins or whatever they're gonna have for the day, any other work orders. So that's kind of typical for a courier. She goes, yeah, but he's creepy and he just peeks out the window asking for a walk. He said one day he even walked in my car and knocked on the window, so, you know. So needless to say, you
Won't be
know,
doing that.
just, I'm only talking about this because just be aware of the creepy factor. We don't want no one coming off as creepy, because, yes.
Since we seem to be lingering on the creepy thing.
Yeah, well, I've been dealing with it for 2 weeks, that's why I'm talking about it.
Are we able to quantify creepy? Like, what is it about the guy?
I've never met this guy, so maybe I'd have to see him, and I don't know.
Let's just hope,
I don't know.
we should not be running
Well,
into.
see, here's the
trouble.
thing, these are the things they said he was doing. You know, it was the way he was doing it. I guess, you know, peeking in the window, you know. You know, it was his,
You know who that?
it was just the way he presented himself. It came off creepy. I thought it was just that one clinic, so well, you know the old saying, if you look for trouble, you're probably gonna find it. Well, at these clinics that IDEXX service, anytime I look for it, I find it. Anytime I look for it. I called 2 clinics on the route, they told me the same thing, he's creepy. So, I've never met the guy, never met him, but I'll give you an example. I stopped doing this, and this is not I know this is not funny jokes, but I actually used the creepy guy's route sheet as an example. And then I kind of stopped what I was doing when I found that he was the creepy guy. But and I'm only calling it because that's what the lady, these customers keep calling him. He has one of the neatest route sheets we have. If you want to take a look at some of his stuff here. Yeah, it's not so many easy. I mean, I have it for everybody, but he has a very detailed route sheet. He had one mistake on this one, but it wasn't a real bad mistake. But if you look, it's very legible. You can read everything on it. This was before, I put this together before I found out he was that guy, honestly. Because he was the guy I was going to use to, you know, demonstrate how it should be filled out. But if you look at the very bottom where it says courier count, lab count, that's the only mistake he made. He counted 90, the lab counted 1 extra. I can live with that. It's when the lab counts 1 less than the courier is when the red flags come. That means that the courier may have left one in the car or he just miscounted, which is possible.
And just hold your questions about these sheets. He's just showing as an example because this will be more in depth later
Exactly.
in my presentation.
But my point is, I like his, if you look at his sheet, it's pretty clear. Everything I need is right there on the sheet. The most important things I need in regards to data entry is the miles, start finish time, total samples are the most important, negative autos, which is at the bottom. Those are the most important things that I need for data entry's sake. Yes.
Okay. As we were saying,
Yes.
hoping we get finished.
Mhm.
For all the couriers, one of the things that there's an old statement that first impressions are lasting impressions. And we talked about, and Amy's going to go into that in more in depth. Your personal appearance, when you come in, you look like a professional courier with your badge. You can identify yourself, in particular being a new courier that they've never seen. That'll eliminate the creepy factor. But if you show up, don't look professional, you're peeking around, that could cause a problem. I don't know how this gentleman looks, but it's very important with this account, and it was with all accounts, but here in particular. We talked about a high maintenance lab, and things of this nature. Professionalism and your appearance eliminates a lot of issues down the road.
Exactly. And so anyway, I was able to calm a lot of the clinics down on the route though. I think we're okay, and they really didn't say he was a bad guy, but again, they just had, several of them had issues.
Are we to assume that the boxes that we are just to pick up the envelopes or the bags outside, are we ever to go inside the clinic for
Good one.
pickups?
If the clinic is open, we'd like you to go inside.
Even though the boxes may be outside?
If you, I'll put it to you like this, most of the time, the clinics don't put the box out until they're ready to go, most of the time. So if you don't see the box out, you see cars in the parking lot,
Go in.
you definitely want to go in or knock on the door. And if you feel, and sometimes, you know, these clinics, I've been to them, they got the radio playing, it's the end of the day, all the clients are gone. They don't hear the courier knocking on the door. So the courier leaves the snow cart and leaves, next thing you know, we're getting a phone call, hey, he needs to come back, we didn't put the samples out. And that's a bad position to put a courier in, so it does happen. The easy way around it, if you feel there's people inside and they just aren't hearing you, call our dispatch. It takes it off your plate. In other words, we don't want you all to have to, you know, do a lot of thinking out there when it comes to these type of situations. You got resources out there that you can call. If you call your dispatch, or your dispatch calls our dispatch, hey, you know, the courier is there, he knows people are inside, they're not opening the door. You did your part.
Right.
You know, you just move on. Because there's not much more you can do. You got a route to finish. We can't allow you to delay a route for one client. So just move on. You're better off moving on.
And one thing that I insisted our drivers do, especially on the day routes, this is very important. During the day, on the day routes, you're going to be going inside. There may also be a lockbox outside. They may go to lunch, put the specimens in the lockbox, and then you come up there and you go inside and they don't have any specimens, and you didn't check it because they're in the lockbox and they forgot. So during the day, all day route drivers is instructed to make sure inside, pick up specimens, outside, if there is a lockbox, you are expected to open it and check it for specimens. No exceptions to that rule, okay? At night, if you see the cars, you see the lights on, you're expected to knock on the door and see if anybody's inside, and then go to make sure you get the lockbox open and you get your specimens. Any problems or issues you experience at a clinic, you need to call dispatch or you need to call your manager. I have a contact list in your folder, I'll go over that later, but this is where it comes down that we have to keep the communication flowing, okay? And we have to make sure, check inside, check outside, and on the phone calling. If you don't find a lockbox or you can't get them to open the door, you need to do all those procedures before you pull out the parking lot, okay?
And again, I know I said it just a little while ago, but trust me, utilize those resources. Don't try to do it all on your own sometimes. Sometimes you're going to see situations where you're like, okay, what am I going to do? Well, we don't want you doing all that thinking. I mean, I'd rather you focus on your next stop, but put it in someone else's hands so you can move over carefree, not having to worry about it. Because once I tell you right now, once you, at least from an IDEXX dispatch perspective, you put it in their hands, you did all you could do. You say, hey, I can't get anyone to open the door. I know they're there. What should I do? They'll try to call the clinic. If they can't get any answer, they'll tell you to move on. So now the next day comes, hey, this courier never showed up. We got a record of it. Well, man, he was there at this time. He knocked on the door several times. IDEXX dispatch called. You know, he couldn't get in, so he had to move on. He had to reverse his route to finish. So that's all I'm trying to tell you. Use your resources. I'm telling you, that's what they're there for. You know, otherwise, you know, if everything always ran smooth, he wouldn't need any of us in management. Let's be honest. You know, I mean, we could just have everybody just doing their job, and it'd be a great day for everybody. But unfortunately, it doesn't always go smooth. Me, myself personally, I just give you a little history on myself. I worked at UPS for 19 years. And then I worked at United Airlines for 5 years as well. And then, of course, I got the job at IDEXX, and I was telling them earlier, I actually got fired from IDEXX, this company, in 2012. Found another job a month later, and then they begged me to come, well, they didn't beg me, but they asked me to come back at a higher position. I was hesitant. I'm like, wait a minute, you guys let me go. I don't know. But I understood, and I left on very good terms, and now I'm back at IDEXX, and I love it here. It's a great company. We've been partnering with some very great vendors. Actually, Fleet Logistics is the most organized operation I've partnered with so far. I've partnered with a few like Reliable, IDEXX, Dynamex. I heard about Velocity. But I'm very familiar with those, and be honest with you, I had a lot of issues with those vendors. And so I'm hoping we can kind of nip some of these little things in the bud right away. But the bottom line is this: if you're not sure, make a phone call. Don't just assume anything out there, because it's so easy to miss a sample. I've seen the weirdest things happen that, you know, it seemed like every month I was seeing something different that I'd never seen before. And I could probably go through my issue log with you all and read down countless of mistakes that have taken place. But the one issue that we can control, definitely, is how we interact with the clients. This year I picked up a lot of complaints. A lot of them here too. A lot of them here. So a lot of our clinics have very high expectations for the courier. Is the courier always wrong? No. Is the client always wrong? No. It's half and half. You got some issues where I think the clinic is being a little tough on the courier, and then you got the situation where you got the courier that's always in a rush and, you know, pounding on the counter when he gets there. Hey, I'm here, you know. Those are the kind of complaints I've been getting a lot of this year. We will allow couriers to wait, like I said, up to 10 minutes, because a lot of times they may have an emergency. You know, again, our main purpose in doing this is it's about pet health. And, you know, if any of you all have pets, you know, you kind of know how, you know, that can really get to the heart when there's something wrong with your dog or cat or you know, whatever type of animal you have. And IDEXX really takes pride in making sure that we let these clinics know what those results are, so those pets can hopefully survive. And I will tell you this one story real quick. We had a situation in Detroit, this was about 4 years ago, where the courier dropped the sample.